Alley with you. We're going to check in with our friend Aaron Oster out in Vegas here in just a second at VSiN. And then a little bit later on, we are going to catch up with the assistant general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, Leon Twyman. That's all coming up as we start focusing on the PGA Championship, but maybe recalibrate a bit as far as the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs are concerned after the first round in the NHL playoffs and the second round in the NBA. So all of that coming up on the program. If you're thinking about where it is that you want to watch the final round of the PGA Championship on Sunday, I would tell you that the place to be, as always, is the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel with those 61 self-service kiosks. And those self-service kiosks are open 24/7, so no matter what you're betting, whether it's the PGA Championship or Ukrainian ping pong or Asian baseball, no matter when they're playing it, you can bet it on the 61 self-service kiosks in the Fanduel Sportsbook. Let's head out to Vegas. Aaron Oster from VSiN joins us now here on Simply the Bets. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are your bets going?
I've taken a small pause. I've taken a just had a kind of a rough week, and Rafael Nadal blowing it in the in Rome last week to friggin' Denis Shapovalov just kind of made me want to think about it. I wanted to regroup. Trust me, when the French Open gets underway on Sunday,
the French Open is coming
I
up.
assure you, I will be right back in the swing of things. But I've just chosen to take a slight break, a slight pause until the French Open gets underway and lick my wounds, if you will, after what has been a tough time. I might be hitchhiking my way out to sea in Vegas here in a couple of months because I don't know that I can afford the flight. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, you had a few things. It's not just that you missed on a couple things last week. It's that a couple of the things that maybe a bit more long-term ended up not working out so well for you. Like, yeah, you wanted me to bet on the Suns to win the West a few weeks back.
Yeah, the Suns aren't good. Definitely missed a few. Though I did, by the way, my long shot Ryan Palmer did finish in the top 5 of the Byron Nelson.
That's all well and good. You said to bet him to win.
I understand that. I understand that. But yes, these things happen. Luckily, the Celtics are still alive. That kind of helps me out. And as you're finding out here, you kind of take it as it goes.
Yep.
You pause, you regroup, and you wait for the next tennis tournament to start.
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith, huh? Dorian Finney-Smith. Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a lot. Oh, and hey, at least there was a first-inning run in that Orioles-Cardinals game. Yeah,
wait.
Thanks for that. All right, let's get back out on the horse. The 5 L's of sports betting, not 5 losses, although it was pretty close last week. Instead, just some theme bets that Aaron offers to you each and every week here on Simply the Baguettes. What is that? We should start a show called Simply the Beignets and do it from New Orleans, though. I am all for that. I am for it. All right, let's begin with your local bet for the week.
All right, for my local play, again, it's one of those things I kind of really want to play some lacrosse. I want to play the over in the Maryland-Virginia game, but those lines aren't out yet, unfortunately, if they do pop up. So I'm looking right now at, of course, at the Orioles game. And so I'm, again, looking at the props. The first inning run did not work for me last week. I'm going to go away from that one. I was looking at the various pitching props. And the one thing that stuck out to me, and this one's going to be a little bit random, Jameson Taillon has a hit total allowed prop set at 4.5. Taillon has given up at least 5 hits in 5 of his 6 starts this season. Of course, unfortunately for the Orioles, the one time he didn't was in one of his 2 starts against the Orioles this season. However, he also went under 5 innings in that game. And I don't know exactly how the Orioles will fare in this one overall, but I do have confidence that they'll get at least 5 hits against Taillon. So give me over 5 hits allowed by Jameson Taillon.
Have you seen the Orioles offense without Austin Hayes and Ryan Mountcastle? Have you, have you been paying attention?
I get it. They don't need to score. They don't need to score runs. They don't even need to string together multiple hits in an inning. They just need to get hits here, hits there.
I hear you. It just has not been good, man. It has been a tough stretch. All right, that's your local. How about let's go with something that's a bit more long term. Give me a futures bet that you like this week.
All right, long term, and I don't normally for long terms like to give out odds-on value. I just don't think just my personal philosophy. Other people bet differently. My personal philosophy is that I just don't like having my money tied up that long when I'm not having a huge return. There are exceptions, though, and when I think things aren't priced necessarily correctly, when I think there's value, even if it's minus, I will go ahead and play that sometime. And in this case, I do think there's some value in betting on the Colts to win the AFC South at minus 105.
Okay.
I think the Colts were the more complete team than the Titans last year. Their big flaw was that they didn't have a quarterback. Well, now I think they do have a quarterback. Now Matt Ryan's not, he's not a superstar, but he's still capable enough to get them where they want to go, do what they want to do, be able to, throw the ball when they need to here and there. But, I simply think the Colts were the better team last year, and between injuries and between the fact that Carson Wentz was not a quarterback last year, they couldn't quite pull that off. This year, I think the Colts, from top to bottom, you kind of compare them to the Titans. I don't know where the Titans are better than the Colts. So at minus 105, I think this is value. I also have noticed this has moved a little bit. It was plus 110 as of not that long ago, and I do think that this continues to move. And so again, looking for value, to try to get ahead of the market, I think this likely closes at minus 120, 25 by the time we get around to the season starting. So I have no problem with playing that now. And if you are like me, by the way, and you don't like, laying the minus 105 to hold that so long, the nice thing about Fanduel is that unlike a lot of places, you can parlay futures. So if you want to pair that with, let's say, the Bills winning the AFC East or the Bucks winning the NFC South or, whatever other future you really happen to like to get more value, and that way you're holding on to a plus 200 ticket or a plus 300 ticket instead of a minus 105, you can do that. But my bet is the Colts at minus 105, but definitely feel free to mess around and put together a future parlay.
Admittedly, what you're saying makes this tricky for me. I hate these types of bets because, as I said to you before, like it feels like what you're really betting on is health, and that's such a difficult thing to do, right? Like, I agree with you that in looking at that division right now, that I think the Colts are the team to beat, and I think Matt Ryan has more to offer at this point than Phillip Rivers did when he showed up in Indianapolis. I think Matt Ryan might be closer to where Matt Stafford was. And I'm not saying that they're going to go win the Super Bowl, but I don't think that Matt Ryan is done at this point. I still think he has something to offer as a quarterback. But am I banking on him to stay healthy for 17 games? Because if he doesn't, then they might not win the division. So that's just the tricky part about this to me is you're really betting on health, and while you're right, you're probably getting better odds. It's not like you're getting so much better odds that it justifies the fact that you got to sit around and wait for so long in order to find out if your bet's going to pay off. That's just the. I wish that the injury risk was more built into futures bets than like to appease people to try to make a bet a little bit earlier. I wish that there was more of a give, and this was something more like it was plus 105 is what you said?
Yeah.
I feel like this would have to be more like at least plus 150, probably closer, to make me say, hey, it's worth making this type of bet, given all of the risks that are built into something. But, somebody's got to win the division, so you can't do that with everybody. I understand that.
Exactly. Just as much of a risk that the Titans have injuries.
Exactly right. I understand that. All right. Next, your long shot. What is the underdog that you happen to like the most this week?
All right. I'll go back to golf for my long shot, and I'm going to take Will Zalatoris at 41-1 to win the PGA Championship.
Ooh.
Zalatoris, he's finished in the top 10 in 4 of the 6 majors he's played in, so for me, it's kind of a waiting game. Like, he's going to break through at some point. He's going to win a big tournament. And honestly, I'm probably going to play him until he does, because he, at the very least, keeps racking me up top 10 finishes, sometimes top 5 finishes. And so one of these days, he's going to come around and actually win the major. Southern Hills, of course, particularly windy conditions, rewards ball strikers, which is, what he does best and one of the best on the tour at being a ball striker. It's always been his putting. That's kind of prevented him from actually winning the tournament. And, he's also won here as an amateur, granted back in 2014, but he is familiar with the course and he has been able to play it before. So at 41-1, I think he's worth a shot to win the PGA Championship.
All right. By the way, if just you're looking in general, it's unsurprisingly Scotty Scheffler, but tied with Jon Rahm as favorites at 12-1. Then Rory McIlroy at 16-1 with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth at 17-1 as far as the favorites to win this weekend's PGA Championship. Aaron Oster from VSiN out in Vegas is with us here on Simply the Bets, offering us his 5 L's of the week for sports betting. Next one up on the list is the one that you say, do not, please, get a hold of your life. Whatever you're doing, do not make this bet. Who's your loser?
As much as anything, this is a philosophical play, and it's a factual play. Here's the truth. You are never, ever, ever going to get any sort of good value or any value, period, betting on Tiger Woods. Everybody bets on Tiger Woods. The odds makers know that. They know they're going to be flooded with Tiger Woods money. They are not giving you value. So when I look to see Tiger Woods make the cut and I see minus 142 there, that's bad value. This isn't the Masters where half the field, in a reduced field where half the field makes it. 65 out of 156 players is going to make it. Tiger Woods could end up being one of those, though it is a windy condition, so I am a little interested to see how he plays, if it's supposed to be as windy as I've heard it's supposed to be, especially on the first 2 days in Oklahoma. So if you're laying minus 142 for something that I feel is at best, a 50-50 proposition, you're getting bad value here. Do not bet on Tiger Woods to make the cut at minus 142.
All right. I know you're right. I understand that. And by the way, it's also more like our buddy Drew always says, like, any tournament Tiger's in, he could win. It's always worth having some. No, just stop.
And that's why you don't make that bet, because everybody says that, and
Yep.
everyone bets that, and the odds makers know that.
Yep, that's the reality of it. I am with you on that. And the one that you love, the one that you would personally walk from Las Vegas to Baltimore, which, by the way, is what I might have to do after all of my losses this year if I want to come out and hang out this summer. The one that you would be willing to do because it is the bet you love this week.
So as I've told you over the past few weeks, one of the things I really start getting into this type of year is baseball props and particularly strikeout props. I usually try to find one or two players to basically just play their strikeout prop every time they go to the mound. I found one this year. Actually, I found a couple, but one in particular, which is Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox. He has been an absolute machine this year. He's coming off an 11 strikeout game. He struck out at least 8 in 6 of his 7 starts this season. And right now against the Royals in the first game of the doubleheader, which, by the way, is the first game of the doubleheader, so if you want to play this, go rush out and make it now.
Yeah, get it quick.
Only has about 2 hours left. So play his strikeout prop is at 7.5. The over is at plus 106. So give me Dylan Cease over 7.5 strikeouts.
All right, there you go. Those are the bets that Aaron's got for you this week. What's going on with the folks out in Vegas at VSiN, my friends?
We continue to pump out all the content, whether it's the Preakness this week or the PGA Championship or any of the big events. Obviously, pretty soon we are going to have an NBA draft guide out, as the lottery is this week. And, the NBA draft will start putting out props based on that. You already can bet on the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. So you can get all of the content all summer long for $59. So go check that out on VSiN.com.
And at the Oster is the A Oster. Jesus Christ, I am falling apart today, man. I don't know what's going on. But I am still in favor of simply the beignets. We still need to do that. At the A Oster is how you follow him on Twitter. All right, pal. Appreciate you. Good luck. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday, all right?
All right. Good luck to everybody. Hope you hit your bets.
There he goes. Aaron Oster from out in Vegas at VSiN, checking in with us here on Simply the Bets. Brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. And just because he alluded to the Preakness, just another quick reminder, unfortunately, it's the way it works. You're not going to be able to bet Preakness on Saturday. They will show the race in the Fanduel Sportsbook. So if you want to be there and spend your day, you'll be able to watch the race. But it's a Maryland law. It's not a FanDuel thing. It's just the reality of it. In Maryland, they want people to go to the tracks to bet on horse racing. So there's unfortunately nothing they can do about that. In order to get sports betting, that was one of the concessions that was made. And as I said before, it's just not something that I'm going to choose to lose my mind about because I get it. You're trying to keep horse racing as healthy as possible within the state of Maryland as far as the business is concerned. So you want people to bet on the races at the tracks. I understand the concept. It's disappointing. It's not beneficial to the other companies that are coming in. It's not beneficial necessarily to the customer, but I understand the theory behind trying to do as much as you possibly can to help out the horse racing industry, the business in the state of Maryland. It's a complicated subject. So you can watch the race on Saturday. They will show it in the Fanduel Sportsbook. You just can't bet on the race while you're there. That's unfortunate. It's a bummer, but it is reality. There's nothing that we can do about that. We can, however, find out about all the many other things that you can bet on this week in the Fanduel Sportsbook. And the man to tell us more about that will be our friend Leon Twyman, the assistant GM of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, and he will join us next right here on Simply the Bets.
Hey O's fans, 2022 Orioles single game tickets are on sale now. Come celebrate the 30th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yards with tickets starting as low as $10. Relive your favorite moments and make new memories this season. Choose from your favorite homestands when the O's take on the New York Yankees, Washington Nationals, and Boston Red Sox, or fan favorite giveaways like Birdland Hawaiian shirt and collectible bobbleheads. Experience the ballpark that forever changed baseball. Buy now at Orioles.com/tickets.
Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new Fanduel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Baseball is back, and so is the spring seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash-fried pork belly with our popular Korean No. 2 sauce, and take a bite out of the Crunch Burger, topped with home run sauce, white American cheese, and house-made chips. It also features irresistible options like a baseball-cut sirloin with blue cheese, grilled shrimp with garlic butter, and a strawberry salmon salad. And then there's the closer, the Cracker Jack Sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jack. This menu will be gone at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. GloryDaysGrill.com to find out more. Great food, good sports.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
to young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rutschman,
we've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
and every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
If you miss anything, don't forget that you can find whole shows later on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon Podcast. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Back in here on what's actually Simply the Bets today. It's not Glenn Clark Radio. It is Simply the Bets, brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Leon Twyman from the Fanduel Sportsbook will join us here in just a second. He is the assistant GM. Will tell us a little bit more about what's going on out there this week at Live Casino and Hotel. As we mentioned, I went over the odds for some of the favorites in the PGA Championship. Let me just update the odds for both the NBA Championship and the Stanley Cup. As far as the 4 teams that are left, betting-wise, for the NBA title. 4 teams. The favorite, Golden State, plus 130. Boston, plus 210. Miami, plus 430. Dallas, plus 650. Those are the 4 teams that are left. As far as the NHL is concerned, and the Stanley Cup, 8 teams remaining. Here are the odds. The Avalanche are the favorite, plus 210. The Panthers at plus 370. The Hurricanes at plus 500. The Flames at plus 600. The 2-time reigning champions, defending champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning at plus 750. And much like I told you in the first round when I said, I don't get it. I'd put some money on the Lightning. I don't know. I feel like I'd put a couple of bucks on the Lightning there too. Like, they've done this before. They're not the best team, but they've done this before. I got a funny feeling. I definitely put a couple bucks on them in the series against the Panthers too. And then after that, the Oilers plus 1,400, the Rangers 14-1, and the Blues 17-1. Those are the updated odds for both the NBA and NHL teams that are remaining. Let's head down to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, where our buddy Leon Twyman, the assistant general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook, is standing by. What's going on, Leon? How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. How are you all?
Everything is good. So tell me I'm crazy, right? And you'll probably do that anyway. But I just went over these updated odds for the NBA, and I'm definitely not in a good place because the Suns are out. But I just watched the Mavericks team take care of the Suns. The Warriors did not overwhelm me in any way during the course of that series. I know they finally got things figured out in the second half of Game 6. Klay Thompson, Game 6 Klay became a thing again. But they have not overwhelmed me at all during the course of their run in the postseason. The Mavericks clearly have, at this point, I think we would agree, the best overall player that's left. We just watched the team with the best player win the NBA title a year ago, and their supporting cast has been far better than any of us thought they would be going into the playoffs.
Right.
Am I nuts to, sprinkle a few bucks on the Mavericks at plus 650 right now?
No, that's great odds for them right now. I mean, you'd be insane not to.
I am just in a strange, I just had this odd feeling, man, where I'm not telling you they're going to win the title. I certainly understand why the Warriors are the favorites, right? As you and I had talked about, they're the team with the most. They have the most to offer. But they haven't played that way. And my God, Spencer Dinwiddie was a thing the other night in Game 7. The Mavericks are getting contributions from places we never saw them getting contributions from. And they can always knock down 33s during the course. They can shoot that well during the course of a game. And Luka Doncic, despite the fact that he's been stuffing himself with those delicious wings that you guys have at Sports and Social, is the best player. I don't know. I just like everything about it, man. I like everything about that. And frankly, of the 4 bets, the futures bets that are available, it's the bet I like the most, right? The Warriors at plus 130, that's probably about right. And there's a little bit of money you can make, but there's just a little bit of risk. The Celtics, the Heat, whatever. Maybe you could argue the Celtics is the best bet. Maybe you could say they're the best team that's left, and you got plus 210 odds on them. So maybe you could argue that's the best bet. But for the Mavericks to be that live of a dog, man, I don't know. I can't shake it. And you're not trying to talk me out of it.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But I'll tell you this: right before I got on this call with you all, I had someone just drop $10,000 on Golden State to win the series against the Mavs. So.
Well, that is far more confidence than I have in said series. Is that the biggest? Okay, so you said somebody just dropped $10,000. What's the biggest bet that you've seen since the Fanduel Sportsbook has been open at Live Casino and Hotel?
The biggest bet overall?
Yes, overall.
I think it was around 160,000. and it was on. So 76ers, they were like minus 430. This was prior to the playoffs. I can't remember who exactly they were playing, but they won the game by just a couple points.
And it was it was an outright win bet.
Yeah, it was outright win, and I know the guy was sweating because they were not looking good that game.
Shoo! I mean, my God, man. Like, I know sometimes these are people that have like pooled money together and things like that, but my God, that is quite the risk. Quite the risk.
Definitely
to take.
Definitely was the risk.
All right, so let's talk about what's coming up this week. Obviously, the PGA Championship is sort of the focal point. You guys, yeah. I know that there's also playoffs going on, but we're at the point with the NBA playoffs, so they're all at night. So should I assume that like Sunday during the day, it's the PGA Championship, maybe the hockey on a second TV, and then we turn things over to the basketball at night?
Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to be.
Give me the various bets that are available for people that are trying to bet on the PGA Championship.
So you can obviously bet just the outright winner if that's what you're looking to do. I know we have a lot of people that will do that. You can bet by round as well. So you can have like the leader after the first round, top 5 in the first round, top 10, top 20, and so on. You can also bet top USA player, top GBNI player, top continental European player. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can bet the overall tournament. You also have tournament specials, which is wire-to-wire winner, lead after every round and win, which looks like they have great odds on those right now. I think John Ram is probably the favorite at 80-1, which is pretty crazy. So everyone else looks like they're 100-1 and higher. There's just so many different ways that you can bet this. There's prop bets. Got the top Irish player, top Mexican player, whole specials. So there's just so many different things that you can bet and just have fun and just go out and just throw money on it and just see what you can win.
It's so
a lot of money to be made.
I wish I want this to be some of these are so random, right? Like right now at plus 270. If any 4 of these 5 guys, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Cameron Smith, and Victor Hovland, finish in the top 20. So you don't even need all of them. Just 4 of the 5 who are among the favorites to finish in the top 20. You get plus 270 odds for that.
Yep.
Like some of these, and then they go to like the, kind of the extraordinary silly, like both Keegan Bradley and Daniel Berger finish in the top 20, and you can get that at 12-1. Like there are just so many amazing random parlay bets that you can make. People that I haven't even heard of that are involved, like Seamus Power. You could bet right now at 35-1. Louis Oosthuizen finishes in the top 20. Seamus Power in the top 30. And Billy Horschel in the top 40. Why? I have no earthly idea.
Right.
But if those 3 things all hit, 35-1 odds is what you get for
crazy.
that.
If this is the thing, like a lot of people don't realize the money that you can make in golf. There's just so much money to be made in golf. Unfortunately, myself, I haven't been able to make any of that money because every time I seem to bet golf, I seem to lose. But that's just me.
Well, I think I told you when we were out there for the Masters, the success that I found on round 4 was in a special bet that was created, which was separate the 2 guys that were in the lead, and on that day it was Scotty Scheffler and Cameron Smith, and then bet of everyone else who you think is going to have the best finish. And that paid out well for me because I bet Rory McIlroy, and I hit very nicely on that one. In fact, I think if I remember correctly, he ended up finishing in second. He finished ahead of Cameron Smith. So there are so many bets that are available during the course of the weekend. If you're going to look for a place to hang out and watch the final round of the PGA Championship, there is no better, any round of the PGA Championship, there's no better place to be than the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. We're chatting with Leon Twyman, the assistant GM of the Fanduel Sportsbook. Leon, what else is getting – so when you and I talked last week, there were only a couple of games that had been announced. Now that there are more games on the schedule, have you guys been getting NFL bets this week?
We are getting some future bets right now. We haven't exactly taken any type of games or anything. It's just mainly futures.
Okay.
And for some reason, everyone's hammering the Eagles right now. I don't know why they're hammering him for the
NFC East. I get it. I get it. You and I talked about this last week. I get it. They got AJ. It's just you're putting a lot of faith in Jalen Hurts, man. You're putting an awful lot of faith. For the record, the line is out. I'm gonna. Leon? Do you know off the top of your head what the line is? I do. So I'm gonna quit. If you know, then I'll quiz Paul instead. Do you know what the line is for the Ravens-Jets Week 1 game?
The Ravens and Jets Week 1.
Yes.
-5.5 for the Ravens.
You're guessing?
Nope. I know that one.
Well, I told you I didn't want you. I was gonna have Paul guess if you didn't. Yeah, it is the number. The Ravens 5.5-point favorites on the road in New York in Week 1. If you'd like to go ahead and get aggressive so you can feel feelings, so you can feel, you know how football fans are. We just want something that feels like you want to go do it. You can go do it right now in the Fanduel Sportsbook and bet that Week 1 game. Ravens 5.5-point favorites on the road in Week 1. Did you see any line that jumped out football-wise? You're like, you know what? I know it's crazy to be betting at this point for a game that's months away, but I kind of want to do it anyway.
Actually, yes. And it might sound crazy, but the Patriots +2.5 against the Dolphins.
Why? Why are you so confident in the Patriots?
They did pretty well last year, and I'm just not a Dolphins fan.
I hear
Never
you.
was a Dolphins fan.
I don't know. Tyreek Hill's gonna help though. That's fascinating to me. I feel like almost that's not giving the Dolphins enough respect there. Oddly enough, that's very weird. That's very, very weird. All right, what else? What else is catching people's eye this week, Leon?
So this is actually an interesting one. I've actually personally have never seen it myself. I was helping out someone earlier this week trying to find some markets on NBA for the playoffs. And something that really stuck out to me, you can bet this for the first quarter and the third quarter. But if you go to a first quarter bet, let's say for the Celtics and Heat game tonight, you can actually bet the first quarter margin and the final margin. It's like a parlay with ridiculous odds. So basically what that is, that you have to be able to guess correctly the win margin.
Okay.
For example, we choose Boston for the first quarter. This first one I'm looking at right now, they would have to win the first quarter by 1 or 2 points, and then they have to win the game between 1 and 5 points. That is 38-1 right now.
Wow. Okay, so if you are confident in Boston winning the game and believe that they'll come in, so the first quarter margin was what?
1 to 2 points.
Boy, that is specific, man. That is a tough thing for me to bet. I get the idea though, right? Like there's left time. You're thinking that the Heat will be fired up at home. I get the concept, but boy, it makes sense that that's about 37-1 to me. That makes sense because that's a really specific margin. But boy, I like it.
Yeah, there's so many different bets on here, and the lowest odds that I see on here right now is 22-1.
Okay, and that's combining the first quarter and the final winning margin.
Correct.
Wow, I just saw this.
I mean, they're all the way up to 100-1 on these odds. It's absolutely insane, and people have just been hammering them to see if they can win out of this.
This one was a random one that jumped off the page at me for tonight's game. Was 2 or more 3-point baskets being made in the first 3 minutes.
Yes,
and
those are another popular one.
And yes is the dog. Yes pays out at +104. So if you think that there'll be 2 3-pointers within a span of 3 minutes in any NBA basketball game, frankly, more or less a game between two very good teams, you can get that to pay out with plus money. That one jumps off the page at me, my friend. That one might be one that I'd be texting you about in a minute and asking for some help because I don't know if I can make it down to Hanover today. But I am intrigued by that. All right, anything else people need to know about as we get ready for the weekend and what's coming up in the Fanduel Sportsbook, Leon?
No, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, just be here 9 a.m. to midnight. Monday through Friday, we're here from 11 to midnight, 61 kiosks total. Ask for one of us. We'll help you out. We'll get those wagers in for a PGA Tour or the Finals or Stanley Cup.
And again, keep in mind the self-service kiosks are always open 24/7, and also that if you want to reserve your spot for any particular event, like you want to make sure you got a table for the final round of the PGA, if you want to make sure you've got some reclining chairs for you and your folks, email events@sportssocialmd.com in order to get your spot. Leon Twyman, appreciate you as always, my friend. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, all right?
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Assistant GM of the Fanduel Sportsbook, Leon Twyman, checking in with us here on Simply the Bets. As we wind down for this week's program, let's get a tidbit of the week. This, I guess, will be Paul's final tidbit. You better make it good. Better be a good one.
I think it's a pretty good one.
All right, we'll find out. I'll be the judge of that.
All right, so a while back, I'm guessing early January, based on three of these bets. 4-leg parlay at plus 196,934.
That's what they bet, or that's what they won?
No. The odds are plus 196,934. It was a $20 wager.
Okay.
Right? 4-leg parlay. Brandon Ayuk, 100-plus receiving yards in the regular season finale, 49ers against the Rams at plus 880.
Okay.
That hit. The Miami Dolphins defense anytime touchdown score against the New England Patriots season finale at plus 950. That hit.
Who was it? Who? But somebody. It had to be a player. And anytime
the Miami defense anytime.
Miami defense.
Yes, the
Got
Miami
it.
defense anytime touchdown score at plus 950. That hit.
Jesus Christ.
Georgia minus 135 on the money line. That hit. And the last leg is the Florida Panthers at plus 1,000 to be the Stanley Cup champions.
Which is alive, obviously. I would be trying to sell that ticket myself.
If you did that, the cash out is $5,427.95.
Yeah,
If you keep the ticket and the Florida Panthers win, you win $39,406.89. If they don't win, you lose $20.
Right.
And
so
self-respect.
I would be trying to sell that ticket, but what I would be looking to do, like I wouldn't be trying to take their cash out. I'd be trying to sell it to somebody else who has. I'd be looking to sell it to the market and see if somebody else would be willing to give me closer to $10,000 for that ticket. But it would have to be a Panthers fan, obviously. Like you'd have to find somebody that both has a lot of money and is a Panthers fan, because they'd want to go for the ride with the Panthers. That's the tricky part. Now, like ideally, you try to see if you can get the Panthers to win another game or two in the next round, and then you see what the trade out is at that point. But I just don't love. I like Tampa. I really like Tampa. So I'd be looking to move that myself. I'd be looking to move that one fairly quickly. But maybe, I mean, this person. It's also plausible this person just happens to be a huge Florida Panthers fan, and that's the reason. They're clearly Miami-centric. Although they've also bet on Brandon Ayuk. That's so random. What a bizarre parlay. What an insane parlay for somebody to be playing, to be sitting here with a chance, and to know, no matter what, you could absolutely cash out right now for $5,000. That is wild. All right, very good. That'll do it for us on Simply the Bets. Don't forget that Thursday morning at 11:40, we will bring you the next episode of Weekend at Bookies. And again, for all of the events this month, not just the PGA Championship this weekend, not just the playoffs, but the Indianapolis 500, Lacrosse Championship, as well as the Rolando Romero, Gervonta Davis fight, the UEFA Champions League final. Email events@sportssocialmd.com to reserve your spot in the Fanduel Sportsbook. We will see you tomorrow morning for Glenn Clark Radio. May the odds be ever in your favor.